Hello, welcome to Chamber Mike. Luehrs. Today I have as one of my guests, Miss Jenny Hardy. And Jenny is kind of new to the Dillon County area, but we're pulling her in and she's becoming a part of it. But Jenny, you became with McLeod the new CEO in I think January or February. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. I was asked if I would come over to McLeod Dillon, and they were working on some new leadership strategies, and so I have been with McLeod since 2005 in various different jobs, different roles as a staff nurse, as a CEO, as a director. So I have worked in many different roles in McLeod, and so I came over to be their interim CEO in January, and then I think about middle of May probably, I was announced as the permanent CEO for McLeod Dillon.
And we are delighted to have you. Okay, can we give me an update on some things going on at McLeod?
Sure. First of all, let's talk about Leapfrog. So if you've heard about Leapfrog hospital safety grades, we are not out and about playing in Leapfrog like children do. It does. Leapfrog is a national company that looks at safety scores for hospitals. So they grade you on A, B, C, D, and F. And we have been in the past, I think we've been a C and a B, and they give annual, twice during the year they give grades. And so they reflect grades from the grade that we got was recently was an A, which is the highest that you can achieve, and we're very proud of that. The scores are publicly broadcast, so you can go look at your score. If you were deciding with your provider, or you were just on your own trying to decide where can I go and etc., you could look up your hospital or your outpatient surgery center. They have different grades. They have grades for different entities, but you could look that up and decide, is this a place I want to go? Do they give quality care? Do they give safe care? And so we're very proud of the A that we just received recently, and we strive to keep that A. And we've come up, I believe we were a C previously, and then a B, and currently we are an A, so we're very proud of that.
I'm glad to hear that. And I think you were judged on your own, not the whole hospital system, right?
That's correct. Each hospital has their own grade.
You've been doing a lot about stroke and talking a lot about it and doing some work about stroke. Seminars and things in Dillon. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
You know what area we live in.
So, yes, we're in the buckle of the belt for stroke and for cardiac disease. So McLeod Dillon is acute stroke ready. We achieved that certification in 2018. So that means that we're prepared to treat stroke patients at our hospital. We assess them, we stabilize them, and we may even transfer the patient. Sometimes they need a more comprehensive stroke care center. So McLeod Regional, for example, is a more comprehensive stroke center. However, we do give the clot buster, as it's called, the IV drug, and of course it has to be given within a specific time frame, within 3 hours of the symptoms. So it's very important, and that's part of what the education is about. Morgan Rabin is our dedicated stroke coordinator, and the education is to get out to the folks. And I'm going to hold this up if you don't mind.
Sure.
This is our just printed and came out yesterday McLeod magazine. And the middle just about of the magazine on page 26, you're going to find someone that you may know, Mr. Bill Daniel from Dillon. He received stroke care over at Dillon, and we did transfer him to McLeod Health in Florence Regional. But that's why it's important. A stroke occurs when a blood vessel is either, the blood carries the oxygen, and when the nutrients or that oxygen has been blocked, or either the vessel will burst, that's when you have a stroke. So there are two different kinds of stroke. But stroke is the fifth leading cause of death in the United States, and of course it is one of the leading causes of disability in the United States. So if we can correct this before it happens, and there's permanent damage, that's what we're trying to achieve. So in the magazine, it talks about the care that Mr. Daniel got, and it also talks about Be Fast. And so this is what we work on and what we educate staff, not only our staff, to recognize, but we like for you as a family member, wife, husband, child, whatever you are, to whoever you are that too, we like for you to know the Be Fast, which is looking at the balance, watching for sudden loss of balance or dizziness, eyes, checking for vision loss, the face, is there an uneven, asymmetrical smile or drooping of the face, arms, check if there's weakness in the arms or actually weakness in the legs as well. Speech, listen for slurred speech, because the person who's talking may not, they may not recognize they have slurred speech. And then the T is for time. Call 911 right away. Don't drive yourself to the emergency room. Don't drive your loved one to the emergency room. Call 911 and let them bring you to the emergency room, because you are, when we see these symptoms, we treat as a stroke, as if it could be a stroke. May not be, but we're going to treat you as if it's a stroke and do the things timely, because time is brain.
Now, Jenny, stroke can hit at any age, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's important that young young adults are also aware of this.
Yes.
And they may be with someone who might be a little older, so they need to know this.
Absolutely.
Okay. And McLeod, tell me again about that wonderful rating we received.
We received an A with the Leapfrog Hospital Survey, Safety Survey. I do want to update you because on two other things, if you have a minute.
We've got a minute.
Okay. All right. So in December, McLeod Health as a system, so that's quite a feat, went live with Epic, which is a new computer system, and on that we have the ability to download My Chart on your phone or your tablet, and you can actually see your results. You can send notes to your doctor. You can send in a refill prescription on your prescription. So it helps with the patient knowing their information faster.
So they're able to discuss it with their doctor.
Absolutely, yes. So just wanted to say that we've been working to get that perfected. So we are still working on it. We have an upgrade tonight, our first quarterly upgrade since we went live. So we're real excited about Epic and My Chart for our patients. And then also our orthopedic line, Dr. Cyan, who's our orthopedic surgeon, is extremely busy, and he works with us at McLeod Dillon, and he does hip repairs, he does knee surgery, and he also does robotic assisted surgery. And so that is, I haven't actually seen it. I've requested to go back there and watch a surgery, but I haven't been given permission yet. But it improves the robot improves the accuracy and is minimally invasive than if you were physically doing that with your hands. So it also, that could be better for the patient, shorter recovery time.
And that's a service we have right here in Dillon.
Right here in Dillon.
Dillon County.
No, you do not. No, you do not. He is skilled. He's a skilled surgeon and has helped to build a very strong orthopedic line here in Dillon. So we are so happy to have him. And he has office hours here in Dillon. So we are happy for you to make an appointment with him and come have your knee done. And I've been a nurse for 39 years. If you would have told me 39 years ago that you would have a knee replacement or a hip replacement and go home within 24 hours, I would have laughed at you. But that is the case, and that's how we're moving, and we have very good outcomes with it. So we're just proud of the work that our surgery team has done along with Dr. Cyan.
And we're very proud of our whole hospital because McLeod Dillon is second to none.
Thank you.
We're the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm Johnnie Luehrs with Chamber Moments. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnnie Luehrs. Today I have a new visitor who has a new business. It's going to be opening on Friday, the 17th of July. Welcome, Rhonda. Let's talk a little bit about your nonprofit. What's the name of it?
Simply Blessed Strong Survivors.
Simply Blessed Strong Survivors. That is such a strong title, and it's such a strong name. Why are you simply blessed, and why are you a strong survivor?
Well, we're simply blessed because we keep God first in our lives. We're strong survivors because we conquer a lot on a day-to-day basis. But for me personally, I've endured a lot of things. I've battled cancer, molestation, a whole lot of things in life, period. And my thing is, we got to be able to help one another.
That's what we need to do. Let's talk about your nonprofit that's opening up. Where's it located?
We're located across from the DMV on 301. Actually, we're connected to the doggy daycare.
Okay.
So we're in the B building. Our address is 1716B, Highway 301, Dillon.
Okay. Now, what are you going to be doing there?
Starting on Monday, because we're cutting our ribbon on Friday, starting on Monday, we'll start accepting applications. So what we're trying to do is empower, enlighten, and encourage the community as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So what we'll do is we'll take applications to help individuals that are homeless,
Mm-hmm.
individuals that been through a lot of things, that is just trying to get a help up and not a handout.
Right. Mm-hmm. And with application, say if I need some education, are you going to concentrate on that area?
Yes, ma'am. We'll be working on helping you get your high school diploma or your GED, whichever you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
We want to focus on helping you get a job and maintaining one. We want to help, with clothing and food if that's needed. But there's going to be qualifications that you have to go through. It's not just a place where you can come and say, "Oh, I need," and we're going to hand it to you.
Okay. All right. What are your hours going to be?
Our hours are going to be Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., maybe 6 p.m.
Okay. And if in an emergency something came up, somebody could call you or something like this?
Our number is always available 24 hours. No matter what time of day or night, we'll get up and come to the rescue.
Okay. Well, I'm delighted to have you. I'm looking forward to the grand opening on Friday, the July 17th, I think at
14.
July 14th, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll be great. And you're going to continue on with it through, I believe, like Saturday and some other
Yes,
stuff.
ma'am. On Saturday, we're opening it to the community. On Friday, it's just for the main people. On Saturday, we will feed the community. We'll have bounce houses, free food, and while it lasts, free drinks. We'll do double dutch. We'll do sack races. We'll have music, like just a fun day for the community to actually come out and see what we're trying to do for the community.
What hours are those?
We'll begin at 10 a.m. and we'll go until 6 p.m. maybe.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Johnnie Luehrs of Chamber Mom and One. Hello, welcome to Chamber Mamas. I'm Johnnie Luehrs. Today I have as my guest Teresa Mason, and Teresa is here with the Helping Hands Food Pantry, but you've got a new location that you've been there for a while, but people still don't realize you're there. So let's talk about our new location.
Okay, the new location is 1304 Highway 301 South. Do not put it in Google because it'll send you to Dillon Body Shop at 301 North. We are right across the street from Farmer's Home Furniture in the old dialysis building.
Okay, Teresa, you've expanded even more of your services.
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
able to offer more. Let's talk about what all you're able to do.
Well, first I'm going to do the basics first.
Sure.
The food
All right.
pantry. Food pantry, a lot of people don't understand you do not have to be on food stamps to get our program. A lot of our senior citizens make just over the amount that would get them food stamp assistance, but they're under our amount. Our amount is like $1,800 a month. So if you're a senior citizen, you live alone, and you're making less than $1,800 a month with your Social Security, you qualify for our assistance. And a lot of people kind of get, wary, but we're here to help. If we can give you some food, the foods and all that will help you. And right now we are being very blessed with vegetables and fruits. And it's a great way to get them.
Fresh vegetables.
Fresh vegetables and fruits, yes. And we actually have some gardeners who bring us, got somebody dig potatoes and bring them to us. And people bring us fresh eggs, organic eggs, and that's those much. We know what those cost. Come to us, let us help you. If we can cut your grocery bill down, then you have money to spend on something else that you would like and can live your life in a better way.
I think it also helped with like phone service too, or they're helping them things that they can apply for.
We always try to know what's available and out there. I think that's pretty well covered at this point as far as the little stations they usually have around town to help with the phones and all. But yes, we do look at what you're doing, what you have, and what you could qualify for. Because it doesn't do us any good just to hand you something and say, God bless. We want to help you get to where you can. And we have a lot of people who have come to us and don't see it. We don't see them anymore. We see them out at Walmart or somewhere else. And they're like, what you did for us really helped us and got us up. And that's what we're looking for.
Talk about the expanded services that you have. Because it's such a big facility now. You've got a whole lot more in there. You had a whole lot in the other one, but you got more in this one.
This one is pretty much already full. We are very, very blessed with donations. Harvest Hope, and kudos to Walmart, Food Lion, and IGA. They are all wonderful sponsors and give to us weekly. We couldn't do what we do without them. They are great supporters. When you see the Food Lion feeds, Food Lion does feed. Our Food Line here in Dillon and Walmart here in Dillon are they're fantastic at what they give us. And like I said, we've been giving out, the other day we gave out 6 different fruits. We gave out cherries, plums, nectarines, peaches, oranges, and grapes.
And these are not second quality. They are what we would buy in the grocery store.
They are what you
Yeah.
must, yeah. We go through everything that we're given, yes.
How about any clothing, things like that? If somebody needs something like a burnout or anything like that.
Burnouts, we ask, please come to us. We've tried to get Red Cross to refer them, but all they have to have is the Red Cross referral, and within 30 days of the fire, and come see us, and we can, if they're getting into a new place, we can help them with getting the food set up, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, all the things that cost when you really have to buy it all at one time, as well as regular food. And then, yes, we do have the clothing, and we also have been blessed with some bedding as well, so not as in comforters and stuff, not the actual beds. We don't do those.
And I think, too, when there's been a fire, that you have had help with the cleaning supplies if it hasn't been a total loss, and you kind of help them figure out what they need to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, the basics are a big thing because we try to keep all those around and available whenever they're needed. It's really hard when you've lost everything, and my family had at one point lost everything. You're like, okay, you go to grab something, you can't grab it, it's not there. And let's face it, laundry detergent's expensive, toilet paper's expensive, paper towels, all of that really, really adds up. And on a daily basis now with our food, we also have things that we give out. We have ladies' underwear, men's T-shirts, and some other clothing that we may or may not have available at different times. Sweatshirts and coats in the wintertime if we've got them available. So anything that we have that's extra, the above and beyond what we keep for like burnouts and for our foster kids, which we do a big foster kid program in December, we keep that. We've started giving that out to the food pantry because we've been so blessed.
Okay. Now, I know that you give out. Can you check in? Can people make donations to you?
Oh yes. We get honestly, we get donations on a daily basis pretty much here in Dillon. We are very, very blessed with individuals that come in and bring us stuff, and some of them are things they get somewhere and they're not going to use it, so they just drop it off at the door. We got a doorbell right next to the front door. Just ring the doorbell because the door, we keep it locked because we're all over that building, and we'll gladly accept it. And we really need volunteers too. If you can volunteer for 1 hour a week, we'd love to have you. We won't make it hard on you. We'll give you, whatever works best for you, but we could use some volunteers really.
Okay. Any qualification, age, or anything like this with volunteer?
No, as long as you're 14 and older, and the main thing is if they're kids, I ask you please put the phone away. You can't work with your hands when you got a phone in them. So that's the main thing.
Hours of operation. If somebody, do they need to make an appointment to see you first?
To start off with, they just need to give us a call, 843-841-2266, and we'll let them know what they need. You have to have a Dillon County ID or driver's license. We have to have your income information for your total household. So there's 4 of you in the house. We have to have income for all 4 of you. And then your your water bill and power bill.
Okay.
And that's just to confirm that you verify everything, and we get you in the system. At that point, you can make appointments. If we're up and running and we have enough staff in when you come, we probably would go ahead and serve you then. I can't promise that because sometimes there's only one of us there. Because right now, like I said, we really need volunteers.
Okay. Anything you want to tell our viewers?
Tell your friends and relatives. I have so many senior citizens that I have been talking to lately, like we had no idea. It's a drive-through. You can come in, you just drive. Once you get your appointment, you drive up. We load your car. If you want to come inside and do a little, as we call it, shopping, because that's, you get to, if you want, like I said, if you want some underwear, or there's no telling what we'll have. We had, at Halloween, we had tons of costumes. Every holiday, we have all the holiday stuff because we get it from Walmart, and then we store it till the next year. So whatever the next holiday is, we'll have stuff for it. So, I mean, just come see us. We can help you find. If you don't like it, don't come back. But don't let anybody go without. Not when we're here, and we've been here for over 17 years now. So there's no reason.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Johnnie.
I'm Johnnie Luehrs for Chamber. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnnie Luehrs. I have as my guest Moses Hayward, and Moses wears a lot of different hats in Dillon County, but we're here to talk about something very special today. What's going on?
Back to school prayer at the courthouse, Dillon County, July 27th, 6 o'clock p.m., 2023.
Okay, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the Empowerment in Action group, I am part of it. I'm the secretary. We're planning a back-to-school prayer program at the Dillon County Courthouse, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We're praying for the schools. We're praying for the children, for the law enforcement. We're praying for the administration. We're praying for the entire county of Dillon, the nation. So we'll have different ministers, pastors, remarks from the mayors, making statements encouraging the people that all the activity, the violence has been going on in the county, in the nation, not to let that discourage you, and that we need to maintain our focus by prayer, and the Word of God in order for us to sustain.
Okay. When you say that you're inviting some other speakers to come in, will they all have kind of like the same thread? They're going to be talking about how important prayer is and how important prayer is in our daily lives and also in our school, and to remember to pray for everybody daily.
That will be the main focus. Make sure that everyone, we're sending this brochure out to all the speakers. We've already sent it out, most of them, so that they will know what we're talking about. We've sent it to the mayors. We have sent it to a couple of them already. We're sending it to the local politicians. We're sending it to the county schools, the nurseries, the daycare centers.
So it's all inclusive. We want everybody, everybody's learning something every day.
Every day.
And you don't have to be in a school building. You can still come and be a part of this.
Part of this.
Yes.
This is going to be, we're hoping this is really big, because we're trying to constantly re-emphasize the importance of nonviolence in our county, because so many things are happening in the county, and it's just totally out of control. So the only weapon we have that we're really trying to use as preachers and leaders is the spiritual weapon of prayer.
Okay. Is this the first time we've done this?
This is not the first time. This is the second time the Empowerment in Action. But the Minister Alliance has been doing prayer in the school, in the county, for many years, even before I came on the scene. So we are constantly wanting to go to the courthouse, because making sure that everybody feels welcome and invited, and it's a place that the taxpayers support, so that we all can get together and come together for one main reason. So this is not the first time.
Okay. Do they have to be there right at 6, or can people just kind of, some people getting off work, picking up their kids and stuff, they're there at 6:20, 6:30? Is that
Well,
okay?
if they get there at 6:20, 6:30, it might be the middle of it. You don't have to be there at 6, but I'm a time person, and if we can start on time, we end on time. So it's getting, at the time of year, after about 2 hours and a half, it'll be dark. So if you can get there at 6 o'clock, it would be good, but if you're not, you're still invited. Welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Okay. Well, let's give our viewers the date and time again and the location.
The courthouse, Dillon County Courthouse, July 27th, 2023, 6 o'clock p.m., and you all are welcome. Dillon County Back to School Prayer.
Thank you, Moses.
All right.
I'm Johnnie Luehrs with Chamber Moments. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnnie Luehrs. Today I have as my guest Reverend Orrin, and welcome back, my traveler. First, let's talk about your trip.
Well, the trip with the Masterworks Choir to Ireland was pretty great. It was pretty awesome. It was a lot of work, but it was also a lot of fun. Many interesting people and things to see. Well worth it. But everybody was just worn out when they got back, between the travel, driving back and forth across the country, all the rehearsals and the events, and of course the sightseeing and the walking and stuff. But it was a great trip.
Wonderful. Have you got anything else planned with Masterworks?
Well, yeah, Masterworks has always got something. Now they do these trips about every 3 years or so, so don't have to worry about that for a little while. But the Pecan Festival is coming up in Florence, and so in September, and so that we'll start rehearsing for that in August. Then we will be doing Camille Saint-Saëns' Christmas Oratorio in December. That's a beautiful piece. I'm looking forward to that. And also, we're doing the Hodier. And then I am really excited about the spring. I know that's a whole year off and everything, but the spring concert we'll be doing together jointly with the Florence Symphony. We'll be doing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, the Choral Symphony. And I'm really psyched up about that. There's also the Masterworks Choir has done really great, but the Columbia Choral Society has asked if we will help contribute to their performance next spring of Mozart's Requiem, which we just finished. And so they haven't quite rebuilt their numbers in Columbia since COVID and stuff. So that's excited to be a part of that as well.
Definitely. Well, you've got some other exciting things you want to tell us about.
Well, there's always a lot of things going on, but today I really want to talk about a group of people that have come to my attention and I've come to love very, very rapidly, very dearly, and they are very, very underserved, especially in eastern South Carolina, and that is the deaf and hard of hearing. And so we are doing a gospel rally at Camp Pine Hill in Bennettsville, August the 26th. It's a Saturday from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It'll be free of charge. We'll have a barbecue dinner and ice cream and everything. It is August, so it'll be hot. And we're just going to have a wonderful time. We've got guest speakers coming in, and we're working really hard to make this a big event because, again, this is an underserved group of people. Even among the churches, particularly since COVID, just for instance, in Southern Baptist churches, and there are over 2,000 of them in South Carolina, there were 60 different deaf churches active until COVID with pastors and ministers. Right now, there are about 19. They just were hit that hard, and it's very hard to communicate. Even on the state level for government services and everything, the closest office for the deaf was in Conway, South Carolina. It's been closed. You have to go to Columbia or to Greenville in order to get a lot of those services and stuff now. We are bringing in some great people. Pastor and professor of deaf ministries, James Walterhouse, who is deaf himself. He and his wife both are coming in from Roanoke, Virginia. Special music and ministry by Brandon Gaskins, a young man out of Dallas, Texas, is coming all the way here for this. Pastor Gary Peters, who does work with a deaf ministry at Maple Street Baptist Church in Conway. He will be there. His congregation, his deaf congregation, is a huge part of this, including a couple of ladies who have national recognition among the deaf in Washington, D.C. and throughout the nation. They know everybody. One of the things I found out, though, is because of the differences in communication and everything, there are a lot of things that are assumptions made by hearing people. Like, for instance, I just mentioned the young man who's come from Dallas to do the music ministry. Well, they're deaf. How do they do music? Well, deaf people love music. They actually do, and they love being a part of that. And they do it through vibrations. Some of them have partial hearing, so on and so forth. Some of them actually sing in hearing choirs phonetically, and so it's pretty cool to see that. They're very straightforward and to the point. And they're very funny and very, very intelligent. Deafness oftentimes is a hidden, if you want to call it a disability. In some ways, it's a greater ability. For instance, and if everybody in this room was talking right now by using hand signal, I could understand my friend across the room, even in the midst of all the noise. So that kind of gives a bit of an advantage and everything. But they are also oftentimes deep problems in communication. I've found out that this is a completely different culture. As you know, I've traveled quite a bit around the world, and it's almost like going to Korea or Thailand or Ireland or wherever it is, that the culture is so different in the way they communicate with each other. And as in most cultures, until you become a part of the culture, they don't trust you. They don't let you in. And and that's just a very human thing. Because of that, less than 2% of them have a relationship with a church or with Christ. And that is something that really, really bothers me as a minister of the gospel. It breaks my heart, honestly. And that's how I got involved with this. My church was supporting some deaf ministry and deaf missionaries overseas that are working in Africa and Brazil and so on and so forth, Cuba, and it just dawned on me, what about deaf people in this area? And I got to thinking, do I really know any deaf people? And I said, well, how do I know if they're deaf? Maybe they're just quiet. I don't know. You can't see that. And so my eyes have really been opened, if you'll pardon the cross metaphor there, to their need, and having done that and done some awareness and going and being educated by them. One of the things I want to stress: this isn't something that I'm doing or others are doing for deaf people. These are deaf people ministering They're the ones building this ministry, building this event. I'm just there to help them pay the bills and do whatever needs to be done, to be there to help facilitate that and support them. So, but we're really excited about it. We're hopeful that it's going to reach, we're reaching all throughout South Carolina and North Carolina through their connections. And so we're hopeful that one of the neat things about Camp Pine Hill in Bensville, it's in the middle of nowhere. But one of the ironies of being in the middle of nowhere is they're actually in the middle of everywhere. They're not far from Wilmington or Fayetteville or Raleigh or Charlotte or Columbia. All of those are within 2-hour drive. And so it turns out that that's a more strategic location than you first would imagine. So.
Well, how are you reaching out to get the folks there?
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this here today is that there are family members that know and are able to share this with others. Visuals like this behind us, the rally, are very, very important. Being a part of their community, once you're a part of their community, they are very, very strong social media followers, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. And they build very strong, very wide-reaching relationships because there just aren't as many of them as there are hearing people. They're not a huge part of the population, and yet they're a very important part of the population. So
the flyers that you have, are we going to be able to send those out and post them around?
we are sending them out through social media, through their contacts, and that sort of thing. We will be printing those flyers. We are reaching out also to local and state institutions like DHEC and so on and so forth. Various doctors' offices. I've talked to 2 different doctors' offices where they have staff in them and said, "Oh, we have deaf patients. They would like to know about this." And so we're trying to get that information to all of them. We're hopeful that this was a German idea that I've been working with others on and getting a strong support from others outside of our community. But we're hopeful that once they get there and now that they are working the idea themselves, this will completely become theirs, and they will, of course, they'll make it much better than I can make it. So,
what can we do as residents and viewers of this?
Well,
what can we do?
For starters, you can make a deaf person aware that may not hear this through other channels. And if you need more information, you can text me, and I text with deaf people every day now. That was something I never did before, but you can text me at 843-992-7754. That's my personal number, and which of course I make public all over the place. But you can text me there, or you can take and look for social media. You can go to do searches for deaf events and things like that. There is some of them get a subscription to a newspaper which is called The Silent Word, which is a newspaper for the deaf. And there will be a large advertisement in The Silent Word this month. So there will be those various places where you can get that information. The best place right now is to text me at 843-992-7754.
Let's tell our viewers again the date and time.
August 26th, it's Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock, Camp Pine Hill, Bennettsville, South Carolina. It'll go from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's going to be a barbecue and chicken lunch, all provided and everything. We will have worship. We'll have some breakout sessions there talking about various things and great preaching. Pastor James Walterhouse, very well known, former missionary in Mexico to the deaf in Mexico as well as in Texas. It's going to be our main speaker, but it's going to be a great time. Oh, and it will be family friendly. We will have couples there that are used to working with both deaf and hearing children. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnnie.
Johnnie Luehrs for Chamber Moments. Hello, welcome to Chamber Moments. I'm Johnnie Luehrs. Today I have as my guest Don Luehrs, and Don is with Agape Care, and that's right here in Dillon County. But let's talk about the services and what is Agape Care?
Well, Agape Care is a hospice company, primarily, that serves the entire state of South Carolina and other parts of the Southeast, but every single county in South Carolina is covered by Agape Care. And we offer hospice services and also palliative care services. But hospice services is kind of the core of our business because we began, some people might remember us as either Hospice Care of South Carolina or Agape Hospice. About 3 years ago, we came together, the two companies, into one, and now I call ourselves Agape Care. So we have a long history of serving the folks of Dillon County, and we've served them with times where they really needed someone to offer them a hand. We serve people on the hospice side that have an illness that's past the point of being curable, but hospice can come in and control day-to-day quality of life and just kind of approach their illness or their condition from the angle of what can we do to make today a good day. We don't focus on how much time might my dad have left or how much time does my aunt have left. We look at it as they kind of are out of options as far as being truly aggressively cured, but that doesn't mean that they have to give up. We can come in and control day-to-day symptoms, get their pain under control if they're having any pain, and just try to keep their day-to-day quality of life as high as we can. What happens sometimes without hospice care is people end up going from crisis to crisis to crisis. ER trip today, they come home from the hospital tomorrow, things go good for a couple of days, and they crash again, so they're back in the ER. With hospice in the house, we can level everything out so we keep them up to their peak almost every day to try to keep their ups and downs from being so pronounced and kind of give them a cushion of having someone come to them and offer them help instead of waiting until it's a crisis.
With that, are you able to work with the family and the doctor? Because sometimes the family just does not know what to do, and they become terrified if mom or dad or husband or falls or something like this. Is it do I
Exactly.
call, what I do?
I think that's one of the best benefits of hospice is because one of the components of hospice is the nurse, of course. And in addition to the scheduled visits by the nurse, you also have the nurse on call 24/7. And I've seen that in my own family. When my dad was on hospice, he was going to the ER. Oh boy, it got to be several times a month he was going to the ER because with his emphysema, he just couldn't breathe. Once hospice was in the house, he was on hospice for 8 months and he had no more ER trips. And the reason that was able to happen is because that on-call nurse, when he started getting that sensation of panic, he can't breathe, his on-call nurse would come over to the house, help him through a breathing treatment, help relax him, reduce the anxiety, and every time she was able to keep him from having to go to the ER. So once he realized that pattern where it wasn't so scary to him, he was able to kind of be himself and have that quality of life he was looking for his last 8 months instead of always being scared of when the next ER trip is going to happen.
And that, well, also you help work with the family because they become nervous and scared and they don't know what to do. So
it's great peace of mind. Even if they don't use that on-call nurse or use all the components of hospice, knowing that help is there for the caregiver can be a great peace of mind. And it does lift some weight off their shoulder too. Let's say you have a person on hospice and the caregiver has been in charge of giving the one they're taking care of a bath. And that takes up a big part of their day. Then they're exhausted and they just kind of wish they could slip away and be by themselves, but they still have to worry about their mom or still have to worry about their dad. It can get overwhelming over a period of time. Well, with the help of hospice, a hospice aide can come in, take that chore of giving the bath off their shoulders. They'll give the bath. The son or the daughter can be the son or the daughter and not have to worry about being the caregiver right then. And it just makes their life a little easier. There's so many patients that we have helped over the years where the patient is extremely grateful, but sometimes I think the caregiver is even more grateful because they're having that assistance and someone sharing that burden with them.
How about with a chaplain? Many people have their own chaplain, but do you offer that service?
Yes, I probably should run through real quick the components of hospice. If we're helping someone in the home, there's a whole team that's going to be helping that family or that patient. It can be as much help or as little help as that particular patient and family needs, but if they resource all of it, it can be a tremendous amount. The nurse is the only person that has to come to the home. And she'll come on a regular schedule, plus the on-call nurse we talked about. The other folks that are optional include an aide, which is the one focused on personal care, getting the bath, getting dressed, making sure their living environment is picked up and clean. So just, again, focusing on making today a good day. And that aide can come out up to 5 days a week, so it can really take some of that weight off the shoulders of the family and the caregiver. For some families, the aide might be the person they see most often. So they really form a big bond between those two. Because we have a policy we use of assigning a nurse and assigning an aide, so it's not different people coming all the time. It's care person that they know and they get to love and really know well. The next person that's optional is the social worker. She's kind of a resource finder, problem solver, navigator. A lot of families we're helping are dealing with a situation that has them handling problems they never really had to handle before.
Right.
And the social worker can come in and help them steer where they need to go, be a resource finder, help fight through red tape, that type of thing. And then you mentioned the chaplain. He's there for spiritual support, not to replace their pastor or preacher they already have a relationship with if they do, but to be another layer of care, another person that comes to the home a couple times a month, and maybe just a social visit, maybe a more structured scriptural and prayer visit, whatever they would like from the chaplain. He's there for that spiritual support for the patient and for the family. So the caregiver and the family as a whole benefits from it as well. The people side also includes their family doctor. The family doctor can stay involved in their care so long as they're willing to. We have our own medical director as well. And then the whole other side of hospice is the medical equipment, the supplies, and the medicine support we give. So it's a total picture that really, really is beneficial. That's why I love working in hospice so much, because it's very rewarding to know you went in and helped someone that was struggling, and you haven't taken away the core of their problem. They're still sick, but we've made their situation more manageable, easier to handle, and they just kind of get some confidence back and thinking, I can do this.
Does the person have to have a medical referral, or can a community member or church family refer someone?
Yes, anybody can call me and make a referral to hospice. It can be a friend of yours, it can be someone in your family, it can be a neighbor. But in order to get them on services, my job is to be the go-between between the family and the patient and their doctor. Because in order to start hospice services, we do need a doctor to write the order for us to begin services. But the initial referral, I probably have about half of the people that we are able to help initiate from somewhere else besides the doctor. And the other half is when the doctor calls me and he or she says, I have someone that needs your help. But either way, my job is to bring the family side and the doctor side together and get them the help they need.
How long does it usually take with referral until you see someone?
Oh boy, that's very quick. People are usually surprised. They say, I just left the doctor's office, but it's very quick. When we get a referral, the last thing we want to do is have someone at home worrying about, should I have called? I probably did the wrong thing. They're on edge in many situations. So we like to get there as quickly as we can, because usually once they hear what we do and what we're about, they think, this is what I need, or this is going to be very helpful, and they feel better about it right away. So we try to respond literally within an hour or two of when we get the referral. And a lot of times we'll be helping that person with their care actually starting the same day we got referred, and certainly by the next day.
Okay. With the weather changing and as warm as it's been, as rainy as it's been, what type of effect may that have on someone?
Yeah, it's been kind of amazing to me, having the background in meteorology and being the weatherman for this area so long. See how that sometimes ties into the hospice side. For one, people have a familiarity with me because they feel like they know me in many cases. But the other thing is that sometimes the weather actually plays into their health conditions. I always knew there was a relationship between weather and health, but on the hospice side, we certainly see that. For example, our breathing patients, COPD and other emphysema and other forms of lung disease, sometimes the high heat and high humidity really exacerbates that. So they're having a bigger struggle. And the other thing we see too is when we have severe weather, people in hospice have a whole other set of concerns, especially if they're dependent on oxygen or dependent on other medical equipment in the home that needs electricity. So if we have a hurricane coming, we make very sure they have a backup source of oxygen, a backup source of whatever they need to get through that storm.
Okay. If somebody wants to reach you, how do they reach you?
There's a number of ways they can reach me. The easiest is my cell phone. It's 843-506-2067. But they can just reach me through the Chamber of Commerce. They can reach me through contacting Agape Care online, or they can just see me at the grocery store and say, hey, how are you doing? Because I have someone I want you to talk to. So however they want to reach me is fine, but I'm very available both to reach out and offer help to a specific person or to talk to groups. I love to talk to church groups or other civic groups about how hospice care works and how we can help.
And you do, I think, some talks and trainings too, talking to people about what to look for and stuff like this. You might come in contact, like maybe people at the post office, they might recognize somebody that they see come in on.
Right. There's different groups that we offer specialized training to. In fact, right now this month we're working with one of the local EMS teams, helping them identify people that might need help. So however I can serve and make the community aware of what hospice is, take some of the apprehension out of the word hospice, because people have a fear of it sometimes initially. Whatever I can do to eliminate that fear and make them just understand what we do, I just, whatever avenue I can do that, I want to.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
I'm Johnnie Luehrs with Chamber Moment.